everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hades 1. Here's our mirror setup for the day. Today we are going to be running the shield with the aspect of Beowulf and the Poseidon keepsake. And I noticed once again that I have not completed all the zero heat bounties on the Pact of Punishment, so we're going to take it a nice casual, and by casual I mean speedrun kind of day. We are going to take no Pact of Punishments and see how fast we can clear this with the aspect of Beowulf. Now, while the Blitz Disc, the aspect of Zeus, has been used to clear the highest heat, for speedruns, Beowulf is king.
Punch into this shield.
All right, we're getting charge shot or sudden rush right away. Ideally for me, I think I'm better off with sudden rush because I just play more consistently with that. But charge shot is really good, so that's the question. Do I like play to my strengths or play to the shield's strengths? And yeah, let's get practice with this. So the way that aspect of Beowulf works, with or without the charge shot effect, is you use your cast stone, basically loading ammunition into your shield, and then afterwards you fire. When you use your bull rush, your charged attack, you will then fire off a projectile in the case of charge shot, or in our case, or in standard case, go charging forward and then drop an AoE of that cast. So it is an extremely strong weapon. Its DPS potential is quite high, and without jury summons on, we can kill things extremely quickly, with or without the piercing shot. But the piercing shot, ooh, Poseidon. So we want Poseidon. The reason we want Poseidon is for Mirage Shot. We're going to take his cast here, combo it with an Artemis cast, and then we have giant AoEs that are now a projectile, mind you, but also hit really hard. And when we get Mirage Shot has this nifty little function.
Enough kidding around without me, nephew. I'm here, so let's go bust you out, much like a raging river through a frail little dam.
And by function, I mean glitch, where your cast through Mirage Shot is normally
Waves, right, Uncle?
supposed to do 30% of its normal damage. But with Mirage Shot, it's so Mirage Shot, the way it works is you do two casts, right? So the thing about it is that that Mirage Shot does 100% of its damage. Now, a normal tier cast, unfortunately, is the lowest tier cast that Poseidon could offer, and doesn't do much for us in the way of DPS overall. But look how big that AoE is. We got a couple palm levels on the cast, and we're great. And speaking of palm, here's a palm right now. Casts scale extremely well with palm levels, as it turns out.
Not now.
Now, one thing I will point out is that I am taking Infernal Soul, Infernal Soul over Stygian Soul, I believe, or I get these mixed up too often to say that with confidence, but I am taking the Pact of Punishment, or the mirror perk that makes it so we have a small salvo of cast stones rather than a single one that regenerates over time. And the reason for that is it's just more consistent for me with Poseidon's cast. If I were using, say, Demeter or Dionysus's casts, then I would have preferred using the Infernal Soul. Alright, so we already have Poseidon's core boons. I would ideally re-roll here for one of his tier 2s that affects splash damage, like more enemies take more damage getting knocked into barriers and things like that. Tidal Dash isn't a bad option. It has a lot of good damage, and it's decent and pretty solid for early game in Tartarus, so that's the alternative. What I would really like to see is our damage getting upped against, what's their face? Against bosses. Beyond that, certainly Zeus would be good because I can get Sea Storm duo with the cast. And like I said, Artemis we need for Mirage Shot. Those are the three gods that make this run as fast as possible in my head. Ares just giving a flat % increased damage on cast is our next best option. So for now, probably better that I sit on my rerolls, and I'll take the dash for now. I think ideally we take Artemis's attack, because I don't know for certain. Oh, hold on. Oh, I'm just sitting in that.
I'm empty.
Well, I don't know for certain. I believe Artemis's... what's it called? Artemis's attack, if it crits, does affect our bull rush. At least the piercing shot, now that we have it. The bull rush otherwise normally would do an AoE where it lands rather than where we start. Funny enough, I think my DPS comes out faster if there's not a big AoE to deal with. If I do I just dash into enemies and then smack them and they get bumped into shields. Now, one thing I'm realizing is I was trying to kind of clear this room as fast as possible. The thing about it is, so when we have survival rooms like this, which can only happen if you don't have any levels of tight deadline, You actually do not... You do not actually have any time on the timer go forward.
Damnable fools.
What have we got here? I'll get my key.
I'll just keep
Alright,
this
anything here? More damage to armor's kind of nice, but I don't think we need it. We'll drop it. Also, I'm now realizing I'm bringing... I think I brought Skelly with me. So, I don't really have a Chthonic keepsake. Whenever you're speedrunning, you want to take Meg. But, I mean, that's the nature of this. This is a... when I speedrun a game, when I speedrun Hades right now, it is meant to be super casual. Like, I am doing it for completion's sake. That's why we're not taking forced overtime, which normally you're supposed to for speedruns. The classic things that you take for speedruns in Hades are you want to take no levels of tight deadline, and I'm pretty sure, because you trial rooms again pause the timer, which is great for, since speedruns are based on in-game time, you want that in-game timer to be as high as possible. And now with just a nary 2 palms, we are above the base damage of our original cast, which is awesome. And we're getting lots of keys, which is kind of taunting me the fact that I maybe didn't need to reroll. Did we get a Chaos Gate there and I just missed it? Because it may just be we are using the Shield of Chaos, so it's talking to us. That's more likely the case, but that was a little... If I did miss a Chaos Room, that's actually a bit of a loss for me, because Chaos Rooms are faster. They don't involve combat. Ares is there, so do I take Ares now or hold out for Artemis or Zeus to show up? I think I take Ares now because there's a chance I can get his damage buff. I think it's Urge to Kill. I always get these mixed up in my head. One day I'll have them straight. One day, I think. But, of course, we want cast damage up above all else, and then on top of that, more cast stones is basically increasing our damage by a pretty hefty amount. Anyway, what was I saying? So the standard setup for speedruns on the Pact of Punishment is 2 levels of extreme measures to make Lerny's head, to enhance Lerny and make his head spawn closer together so you can kill him faster.
Lord Ares.
Beautiful, isn't it? The strife which follows you. You have a real knack for this, and I, for one, am happy to assist.
And then I'm pretty sure you don't take tight deadline for the reason I just said. It makes it so you can keep survival rooms as a possibility, which will reduce, which pauses the timer despite it being an encounter. We'll take the 10% increased attack and cast damage. That'll probably hit both our attack and our cast, which is pretty nice. A random boon. Now here's the thing. If I take that random boon and it's anyone other than the 4 gods I mentioned, now I'm in a bit of a pickle. But it is possibly better to take it and lock in a 4th god, even if it isn't our ideal god. I don't know what the best choice here is, honestly. I think we just go for it.
I've come to offer my support.
Yeah, Athena ain't that great for us here, unfortunately. This is the second time I've had to say that. Athena shows up and forces herself in, and I'm just not into it. But that's what we get for picking random. Probably the best. I should have saved my coin. But with that said, I guess does she offer any meaningful duos for us? Since we're gonna have Artemis. Deadly Reversal is okay because it'll give us crit chance, so I guess that's okay. More importantly, does she give us anything with Poseidon or Ares? I mean, Merciful End is always great, but not really for this build. Unshakable Metal is just damage reduction, which doesn't matter since we're not going to die on this run. So I think what I'll do for now is I'm going to take... I could take Divine Flourish and lock in for potential duos, or I could take Bronze Skin and avoid them altogether, which I think is the choice. Let's take Bronze Skin so I don't have to worry about potentially getting duos and locking up slots with her for now. It honestly may have been better to take her special just so that I don't get offered core boons, but I'd rather see Artemis do that for me right now.
Oh well.
So? Ugh. Still can't believe Megara got mixed up with you, Red Blood. For all her weakness, I always thought at least she took her job here seriously. Live and learn.
Hanging on the edge of tomorrow.
Not interested in your nasty remarks about her, Electo. Though if you keep them up, I'm warning you, I might get mad.
I have not seen any of the Sonic movies yet.
You might get mad. Defend Megara's honor since she's far too weak to do it her damn self? You think she's so pure? You're disgusting. Both of you.
I know I could be responding to what Electo's saying, but honestly, I just want to talk about the Sonic movies because I still haven't seen any of them despite being a giant Sonic head as a kid growing up. Which I just feel is like a huge betrayal of my childhood. Not. Actually, here, Skelly, do your thing.
Do I know you, dead man?
Do I know you, dead man? Hey, what's going on is what they both said there. But yeah, I have not seen either of the Sonic movies, unfortunately. And especially Sonic 3, I'm really happy to hear is performing quite well, because it recreated the story that I loved most from the Sonic games as a kid. See you later, Skelly. But I loved Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, I've mentioned I'm going to play it on the channel at some point, probably.
Suitably achieved this time around.
Granted, with a very silly gimmick.
Hold power.
Let's see, anything to sell here? I guess I could sell Artemis's bronze skin since I don't really need it and we can use it to buy things later. Speaking of which, Light of Ixion, heck yeah, we'll buy that. Of course, in typical fashion, anything from Hermes will up our speed. Greater haste, hyper dash will make us move around faster, but more importantly, set this up for rush delivery, which will be a huge damage up. But a sub 4-minute
Now we're getting somewhere.
Tartarus is pretty nice. I would ideally like that palm on my cast, but I don't think it's worth giving up a chaos room because 1, chaos is a lot of time saved, and 2,
Got a bite. Slavog. Good
I mean, chaos can potentially give us some extremely powerful boons for the type of run we're aiming for. All right, chaos, what you got for us today?
I thank you.
Your presence is appreciated, son of Hades, but please leave us here for now.
I did not even notice Nyx there until she started talking. Ooh, it's not the best cast, but 31% more cast damage for at the cost of not using our special for 3 rooms. Very well worth it.
I appreciate your patronage.
Oh, I forgot to say hi to Nyx. I'm sorry, Nyx. I'm sorry, I have speedrun brain on the brain. All right.
There.
Well, it definitely wouldn't be the strongest option. It wouldn't be nice. It would be kind of nice to get oh my goodness, Hermes legendary that makes us pick up our cast stones more immediately, or immediately as soon as they drop on the ground, actually. Not worth it, but would be convenient for this sort of build.
Come on now, boss. Let's get you moving here.
All right, Herms, what you got? Special, stronger, hyper sprint. I guess we'll take hyper sprint. That does kind of set us up for hyper dash. The downside to hyper sprint is it's really hard to use it with Beowulf and have it benefit rush delivery. We have 6 rerolls. Why don't I reroll here and see what we get?
How about a different set of choices then?
Greater haste. There we go. We'll take the greater haste because that's more consistent for us. I was looking at that infernal trove like I wanted it, and then I realized, oh hey, I'm supposed to be going fast. We've got Midshop and Eurydice. Honestly, like, this is a tough decision. They both pause the room, so they're fine. I think Eurydice is the answer. The reason we're going to take Eurydice is, 1, I get to choose between upgrading our cast's rarity once with her Palm Porridge, I think it is, and then Refreshing Nectar could give us increased rarity on a bunch of boons to come instead. I think, honestly, the chances of it hitting the cast are decent, but not decent enough to override.
Here's just practicing for when he's got to sing next for Hades Senior.
I don't think it overrides the benefit that Refreshing Nectar can give. So the next 3 rooms will have the next 3 boons will have increased rarity, and here's going to be an increased rarity Artemis. So we get her attack, and that'll be great for us. Then we probably just start rolling for Mirage Shot and setting up for her legendary, otherwise. Barge of Death should be made very quick because enemies spawn next to each other in theory. Well, that was big in theory, but we popped those guys pretty quick. More than 1 wave, but not bad. This is a pretty quick Barge of Death, I would argue. But we keep getting more waves of enemies. They're spawning together now, so that should be a nice big room clear type situation. Or not. No shields for you guys. Yeah, you know what I should have done before I started this run, though? I should have remapped my cast button to my left button.
You found me.
Makes this a lot more efficient.
Remember, Zagreus, kill or be killed.
You say so, Artemis. All right, epic level attack, 38% more damage, but more importantly, 15% crit chance. We will gladly take that. Now we are in line for Mirage Shot, which is the core of this build at this point, aside from just getting more levels on the cast. Now, I forget if it's Beowulf specific or not, but one thing that is worth mentioning is the other thing that's bugged on Beowulf. I know this definitely applies to Trippy Shot. I don't know if this applies to other casts. Despite the cast saying that it has been upgraded by a certain amount of damage, it actually scales way better than you would think with Palm levels. Palm levels are basically double what they actually give, at the very least on Beowulf and with Trippy Shot, but I believe in general.
My chaos boon.
Okay, there's another Poseidon boon versus Palm. I think we take Poseidon. We take Poseidon for Mirage Shot and his tier 2s. Oh, and it's even better. It's a fountain chamber, which saves us a fair bit of time. And there's Mirage Shot. So now we don't launch a second cast that does 30% damage. We do 2 casts that do 100% damage, which is why it is broken on Beowulf. Or why Beowulf is used so heavily in speedruns. Its damage potential is pretty darn up there. Alright, who's here? Ares. Not that exciting, but we have a lot of coins, so we'll buy them. Blood Frenzy could be useful for upping our damage. Curse of Pain is useless because I'm never going to use the special unless I absolutely have to. And Blade Rift is a net damage down for us with our current build. I can make an argument that I drop Death Defiances and Hades and just get the damage up. So I think that's the best place to go for now. So we'll take Blood Frenzy. We could alternatively sell it later. Alright, let's watch us pop. We're going to like instantly phase Lerny, I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to catch up some other time, Lerny, as I'm in a bit of a rush.
And again, normally I would take extreme measures too. The only reason we're doing this way is so that I can get those bounties. But look at that damage. We're already on to phase 1. Instantly pops its heads. You know what? Maybe I should... Here, you know what? Hold on. You can take a quick peek behind the scenes at what my controls are. We're going to briefly switch my cast to the left bumper. That way I can more reliably reload my cast. I do wish there was a way to have more than one button cover the same ability, because I would prefer... Where am I cast? Right. Okay, well, I have to mentally reset my brain into using my cast, I suppose.
I can't.
All right, there we go. I'm still trying to use the original cast button, so this may not work in the middle of a run. The only weapons that I do this for are Beowulf and Hera. I'm very much more used to having the cast in its standard location otherwise. But it's a little bit, it does throw me off a little bit.
Not yet.
Now, if I was more optimal about this, I would be hitting him while I'm trying to collect my cast gems. But I'm also just trying to reload my bull rush at the same time. So
Good, no more heads.
there's a little bit of a cognitive dissonance in how to play that appropriately, but that was a sub 3-minute Asphodel, not bad at all.
You surpassed my Hydra.
So we have gotten our 4 gods. We have your Ares, Athena, Artemis, and Poseidon. And I'd love to just kick Athena out of the club and get Zeus, but strictly speaking, the amount of Zeus we need to make him function isn't that exciting, or pardon me, isn't that amazing. So I think, what keepsake do we take at this point, honestly? Probably just go for more damage at this point. Actually, I might take that, you know what, let's take the Chthonic coin purse so I can buy more things. And then we'll switch to Bone Hourglass on the last floor. So we'll take Eris Bangle. You deal 50% more damage when striking undamaged foes for the next 6 rooms. That will make us actually do a fair bit because a lot of our damage is burst. We don't have any damage control shields, so we're popping enemies as soon as we hit them. As long as I hit them with the cast immediately. We're still looking for our second hammer and our second Hermes. There's our second hammer, so we'll get that first. Anyway, I guess I should at least briefly mention, so in the previous episodes, I had been dealing with some eye issues. I wouldn't say they're perfectly resolved, but I haven't recorded in 3 days, and I've certainly had plenty of time to get my vision back up to normal. It's just shy of perfect now. Not that my vision is ever truly perfect, but... Alright, let's see. Charged flight, no. Your attack hits twice but does not knock foes away. During your dash, your special is faster. It really wants us to suddenly switch into a special build, but that's the worst idea for this one. The pulverizing blow will take. It'll make us hit twice and not knock back foes, but that's what Tidal Dash is for after all. We're going to take the palm and hope that we can get another stack on our cast, which will further up our damage. We are hitting like a truck, mind you. 643 on a crit of the attack. Anyway, so yeah, I can mostly see normally now. It's still maybe the slightly bit blurred, but I'm largely back to normal, which means I'm gonna hopefully be able to record normally without complaint. Sleep schedule, I actually had the most wonderful sleeps for the last 2 nights, and then today I decided that, you know what, sleep, I'm too good for sleep, and I woke up after like 3 hours of sleep and couldn't fall back to sleep for 3 hours. Drank some tea, relaxed, started scripting lorenzmug.mp4 2, which I didn't expect to do. I'm gonna re-roll here because it's worth it to get this on the cast. That'll up us a bit. Let's see, we do not take trials because they are a huge time loss. We're gonna have to take the shop, even though both Poseidon and Artemis were offered there. Sadly, it's just not worth it. Razor Shoals, on the other hand, is worth it, but what I should have done is bought this after the palm, so I could better guarantee that it ends up on the cast. But it ending up on the attack isn't terrible. I would love to do that Charon room, but it is, I don't know how it interacts with your encounter count, so I'm not going to risk it being a time loss. So we'll take the Hermes room here. And another fountain chamber. Excellent.
Olympus, I accept this message.
That's more time saved for us. Rush delivery, we got it. 50%, not the strongest, but nonetheless, happy to see it. Another palm for us means more damage somewhere. Hopefully, if not on the cast, on the attack. Oh, I was trying to space that so I would hit both of them. Unfortunately, I did not get it. Oh well. Alright, I have mostly mentally normalized the fact that I am using my left bumper, or my left button to cast now. Don't you respawn? I wanted to kill the witch, but I had to keep that thing from respawning, or that would have been really annoying. Oh, that was a really short room. Man, we are getting unlucky with these palms, I have to say. I don't put it on Tidal Dash. I could argue for Razor Shoals, but I honestly think I use another reroll, because we got Mirage Shot. What else do I need to reroll for at this point? Not much, honestly. We don't need any other duos, so yeah, we'll toss that on the cast one more time. We're at 151 damage at base. Now, at this point, there are two ways to consider this. Again, Artemis is decent because we could potentially set up for her legendary, but that requires 3 boons now. Pressure points and support fire. Support fire is useless in a speed run for the most part. It's a little bit more damage, but it's really not that worth it. And then we need her a third time to actually get the legendary, and that's assuming she even offers it. Poseidon, on the other hand, again, offers us tier 2s, most importantly a boon that makes us deal more damage to bosses. But I think I'm going to argue for Poseidon here. We be decided on Poseidon.
They said you were headed this way. I said I'd stop you. Though, we'll see.
This would have been great for Meg, but I guess we'll let Skelly do his job instead. Just keep popping Asterius. Oh, Skelly is not going to last for long, is he? But look at that. Our fully charged cast is 1500 damage.
Not even a scratch.
The one downside to piercing shot that or whatever, it's piercing rush, I think, is that if you overshoot it, it's gonna miss. And that's part of the reason I'm inconsistent with it. I like to hold my shield sometimes to like catch my thoughts and position better.
See you soon.
But look at our damage. We are melting
In the name of Hades.
melting bosses right now. Sunken Pressure, Poseidon's Aid. Poseidon's Aid would be cool if I didn't have way better DPS on a different move. Sunken Treasure is useless, but good for meta progression if nothing else. And the special is useless. I'm gonna re-roll and see if we can get a tier 2.
Something else.
Breaking Wave or Wave Pound. Oh, perfect! A rare tier Wave Pounding. We deal 30% more damage to bosses now. That is exactly what we needed. And that's pretty much all I care about getting from Poseidon. Yeah, his other tier 2s are still really good for trash mobs, so I'm not gonna say no to him. But that we just needed to deal better with bosses, and now we can do that. All right, nice quick room. Let's check the shop and see if there's anything worth getting. Not really. Oh, a Prometheus stone. That's worth getting. All right, it's only for a couple rooms. We take the Patroclus room here. It'll up our attack damage, therefore our piercing shot damage, and again, it is a pause timer, non-encounter room.
There's been considerable talk of late about the Queen Persephone, stranger. Your mother, it would seem. Sounds to me your tale's almost as complicated as my own.
Random observation, the little pearl-looking thing on his hand, on the back of his hand, I keep interpreting that as because the color of his little leather shield-looking thing there is the same, almost the same color as his skin. I just keep interpreting it as like there's a giant gem or rock embedded in the back of his hand.
It's a long story at this point indeed. But yes, the Queen, my mother, she's returned. And it's been really good having her back.
I can only begin to imagine. May she help govern all of this with wisdom and with grace.
Well said, Patroclus. All right, we will take your Cyclops Jerky Select for the next 10 encounters, 60% more damage. Now, the real question is, will that last us into Styx? Okay, so here's the question, Palm or Shop? Honestly, I think Palm, because I can get it on something that's useful, whereas the Shop may not even offer a Palm. And like I said, we're at the point of the build where I don't have much to gain other than Artemis.
The power of Olympus.
We're still not getting anything on the cast on first choice. I'm going to sit on this one because I think, if I had to argue, I think 8% more boss damage, or I don't know, what is more. I mean, when you deal 1500 damage, 8% can be a lot, but I don't know if it's worth it that much. I'm going to take it. I don't want to waste a reroll. Razor Shoals, again, we're bursting things too quickly for it to benefit us outside of bosses.
Ah, at last. Come, Mysterious. Let's vanquish this blackguard.
All right, we're going to charge this up and try to hit both of them at the same time. Nice. Oh, I think Theseus blocked it with a shield, which is it's annoying that Theseus can block that damage. Oh. Just kidding. Theseus couldn't block that. Look at us melt them. Goodbye, Theseus. You tried. That is the power of a single cast stone in this build. But look at that. Absolutely demolished.
You are my biggest fan.
Averaging 3 minutes a floor is really good for me. Sadly, no way am I getting the sub 10 dream.
That I shall be seeing you quite soon.
All right, I think we take Bone Hourglass, but let's see what's in the shop first. Unlucky. Nothing we want to use here. I still think I maintain the position of take Bone Hourglass and reroll the shop and see what we get. Yeah, there's no reason to take that special. If I'm using special, I'm losing damage. Ugh, really just awful luck. Okay. Well, I'll take the gems because I can. Yarn of Ariadne, if we see a third Hermes, could be cool, I guess, so I'll grab that. Anything to sell?
I still need these.
No, that's all damage for us, so we'll keep it.
Out of here.
All right, well, we're making pretty good time. We are making pretty awesome time. For my first ever Beowulf speedrun, I'm pretty happy. And of course, there are optimizations that could be made, but I'd say we overall got a pretty strong start.
The edge of Father's realm.
I would say overall, Beowulf is not my favorite shield. I'd say probably Aspect of Chaos is. It's at least I have nostalgia for it, if nothing else.
Sated.
All right, so for speedrun purposes, we definitely take the mini boss doors first. I would have loved to go for that palm door to get another palm on the cast, but it's not worth it. So we'll take the coin first, and hopefully that'll let us buy a Hermes boon. Now the question is there actually a Hermes boon worth buying, or should I use that money on a palm instead? And I'll have to look through Hermes boons to decide. I know I took that Yarn of Ariadne, but that might not have been the optimal choice.
No use.
I guess Hyper Sprint could synergize with Rush Delivery still. I have my reservations about how consistently I can use it, because I only have, if I get a low tier Hyper Sprint, I have half a second to use my Bull Rush after a dash, which in theory I could manage. I could certainly manage that. It just sounds very tight.
Can't do that.
But I think I could probably do it, honestly.
Can't quite
All right.
get acclimated to
Goodbye,
this
rat.
smell. Come forth,
All right.
Skelly. Oh, hi.
We're gonna pop Skelly over here to distract the rat.
Not now.
And just keep up the damage. That's one mini boss done and a room clear.
I'll just take that.
Pardon me, Skelly. I think my brain interpreted Skelly as I have to fight him. All right, let's see. Hermes. If I were to take Hermes here, what would you offer me that I would want? Arguably, Swift Strike would make us charge up our Bull Rush faster, so there's argument for that, I think. I think it's mostly just Hyper Sprint at this point, yeah. I think it's still worth it, so, Yeah, let's take that Hermes boon and see what we get. Hyper Sprint, please?
Pleasure doing business.
Do I reroll once for the sake of getting potentially Hyper Sprint? That Greatest Reflex is nice, but it only gives us defense. It doesn't give us damage. I'm gonna roll and see if we get Hyper
How about
Sprint.
some other boons instead?
Nope, but we do get a higher tier Greatest Reflex, or I could take Greater Evasion and worry less about face tanking hits, because I don't really need my dash for anything. I have a shield after all. All right, well, not ideal, but we got what we got. We'll take the HP now because, again, we want to do mini-boss chambers first. The real question is, will 6 RNG bless us with anything better than what it usually does? Because my last speed run, I think we got either a 4 or 5 chamber 6, which just feels awful. You're on pace for a new record, and the game is just like, well, joke's on you. I hope your new record is lost to RNG, as always it is. All right, moment of truth. 2 chamber 6. Oh, wait, almost moment of truth. Fortunately, we didn't get a Well of Charon here, so the Bone Hourglass was basically useless to us, but oh well. And we got the 2-chamber sticks, which means we are on pace for PB. Let's see if we get it. I have to get sub 1130, I think, to get a PB here. There is an Athena boon over there. I think it's time loss. There's nothing she offers me that could give me...
The prince compels the multi-headed hound to let him pass.
There is nothing that Athena offers that would be enough of a damage up to be warranted to take. I could argue for her call because it'll give me some survivability that I don't have to dodge moves, but I took that Ares boon for a reason. I want to die because if I die, I get Blood Frenzy and 22% more damage.
Father.
Well, Zagreus, even if I vanquish you, arriving here is a sufficient feat.
Doesn't really feel like that, Hades. I mean, we're playing on the lowest heat we've done on the shield in basically the entire series since the first time we ran the shield. No matter. All right, we're going to toss out these and pop. Of course, he's going to darkness away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this corner and then do this and completely miss with all my shots. Unfortunate. Unfortunately, our Prometheus Stone wore off, but that's one phase. I'm going to charge this up and I don't know how. Oh, you know what? I am playing the Undyne boss fight from Undertale right there. I'm just turning around to block attacks. All right, we do 1800 damage in one fully charged cast.
I'm empty.
I wasted that. I could have played that better and gotten the hit as soon as he popped his shield. Him dashing away is a bit of a problem. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use this wall to my advantage. He's going to darkness away. We're going to kill his friend. I'm wasting shots on this. Can we stop dodging Hades? Okay, there we go. That was a really slow phase 1 for me. I don't think we're getting this because I really misplayed that, but it's fine. So I'm going to face tank these lasers because it means damage. On me, but damage on him. Actually, I guess you can't face tank them if I'm blocking them with a shield, you know? Alright, there's phase 2. I want to see what happens if Skelly makes it to the end, because I had a theory that maybe Skelly says something funny if you have Skelly at the end. So let's... Oh, well, this is... I'll block you, Skelly. Skelly taunting Hades. There we go. Oh, I think we missed our PB by like 1 second.
Not for all my wretched kin upon Olympus, you.
That's awkward. It's fine. We kept Skelly alive. That's what's important, right?
Fair. Well.
If we had this build with extreme measures too, we would have saved a lot of time on learning. Waiting for all his heads to spawn and then killing them all separated probably lost us a lot of time. But there we go. Let's see. That is... Okay, never mind. Our record was 11:11, so I missed it by like 20 seconds, but still, our fastest run on the shield by a long shot. So, let's see. Who are we going to honor today? Of course, Aspect of Beowulf and the cast need to stay on it, and Mirage Shot, of course. I think we definitely... Yeah, sure. Skelly deserves the honor. He was here for the final kill, for the final hit. Alright, Skelly, you go right up top right there. Oops, wait. Where are you? So, Skelly, then we'll do Mirage Shot, and Rush Delivery is always nice to honor. I think the only other thing left would probably be the cast. There we go. All right, that's our end slate. A new record on the shield by quite a margin. All right, now the question is, does Skelly say anything custom? Skelly, do you have any exciting things to say about us beating up our dad? You getting to watch the final hit? No? Skelly. I like the little pose he does after he gets hit, like, ta-da, I survived your hit. Alright, so Skelly has a very clearly reduced damage cap. Let's see what happens if I do that. Crit for 34 and did 78. Alright. Bye, Skelly. Meet you at home.
One might suppose the prince's tale most likely ends akin to other tales of the heroes of our time. Like so.
Yeah, I'd say that was a very solid speed run, at least for me. Which is good, because I needed to finish that run before Kiwi came down and had a meeting in like 20 minutes, so...
Feels like it's been a while, everybody.
Guess you're here to stay.
It's convenient that I ended up having to do a speed run this episode, because, or maybe I just keep timing it that way.
You've but one life to live.
Because my last speed run was I had desperate need of the bathroom.
Do give yourself a break from time to time.
Oh, don't worry, I already did.
Cerberus cannot be bothered at this time.
All right, well, we're gonna bother Cerberus for
Just
pets.
as long as one of your three heads enjoys these pets.
Hades does not like us showing affection to the dog, I see. All right, Hades, what have you got to say?
Cerberus there was anticipating your return.
Despite you having grievances about it, apparently, yes, he was.
Well
Hey.
done then, Meg.
It's a picture of Meg with her hair down. Interesting.
About ready to go another round with me out there.
Always. And, ooh, Darkness for Nectar. We'll take that for sure.
Here's your nectar.
Hey, Dusa.
Dust at the halls, dust at the library, dust at the sconces, dust at the doorknobs, dust at the chairs.
What are sconces? To me, my brain just hears the word. They look like scones, and my brain just wants scones. Or some sort of pastry.
Freshly caught, just for you, chef.
Kiwi, you want to make scones when you hear this in the recording? Let me know, okay? I've never made a scone before. I bet we'd enjoy it. We're in need of something new to bake, after all. Alright, well, let's go say goodnight to Skelly and call it an episode. Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching.
What's going on, Skelly?
Trying to bore me to death with all this chit-chat, pal?
Hey, another gauntlet run. Alright, well,
Let's punch things up a bit.
we've been getting gauntlets a lot lately, haven't we? Maybe I should go for a speedrun on this one next. I think Aspect of Demeter is probably best for that, because it's the only one that, like, really gives me consistent damage up. Aspect of Gilgamesh attacks too slow. Aspect of Talos, you're gonna kill things before you magnetize them, probably, at least in the early floors. And Aspect of Zagreus doesn't give any damage, so I think Demeter is probably the best speedrun gauntlet on paper. I'll double check with what the community likes to run. But with all that said, Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. If you're sleeping, I hope you're sleeping well. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.